911. Please, someone. Hello? Can you hear me?
The line crackles. Silence. No operator. No answer. For 72-year-old Margaret, that silence wasn't just terrifying, it was nearly fatal. Her phone had dropped its signal mid-emergency, and for 3 long minutes, she thought help would never come. But what she did next saved her life. And today, we're going to talk about that, because every senior needs to know what to do when 911 doesn't pick up. Welcome to the Best Life Senior Podcast. I'm Dr. Howard Tucker, neurologist and longevity doctor, and for more than 7 decades, I've seen how moments like this, seconds really, determine whether someone lives, recovers, or slips away before help arrives. And sitting across from me today is a man who's lived long enough to see medicine evolve from handwritten notes to artificial hearts, yet still believes the most powerful tool in an emergency is human preparation. He's Japan's oldest practicing physician, longevity pioneer, and my dear friend, Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara.
Thank you, Howard. This is one of the most important conversations we can have because when the unexpected happens, whether it's a heart attack, a fall, or even a stroke, people don't freeze from pain. They freeze from confusion. And in that confusion, time slips away.
Exactly. And in the first few minutes after an emergency, the body is fighting for balance, but the mind is searching for direction. Most people believe calling 911 is the end of the story. But what if the line cuts off? What if you're alone? What if the signal fails just when you need it most?
That's why today's episode is about self-reliance. The first 180 seconds before help arrives, when your actions can decide your future. We'll talk about what your body needs first, how to stay conscious longer, and the one position that doctors quietly use in emergency rooms, but few people ever learn to use at home.
And it's not about panic or fear, it's about control. Because the truth is, survival doesn't start with the ambulance, it starts with awareness. Stay with us, because before this episode ends, you'll know exactly what to do if your 911 call ever fails. So, let's dive right in, doctor. You often say the first 3 minutes after an emergency are what truly matter. What's happening inside the body during that time?
Those 3 minutes are the body's survival window. When the heart stalls, blood pressure crashes, or breathing weakens, oxygen to the brain drops fast. Every second counts. If you can keep oxygen moving, even imperfectly, you can buy time until help arrives. But if panic takes over, the body's systems collapse even faster.
That's powerful because most people imagine emergencies as sudden and chaotic. But you're saying the first move isn't medical, it's mental.
Exactly. The very first action isn't reaching for the phone, it's reaching for calm. When you panic, you burn oxygen faster, your breathing shortens, your pulse spikes. But if you stop for just a moment, ground your breath, you shift the body from chaos to control. Slow, deep breaths through the nose, out through the mouth 3 times. That alone can reset your nervous system.
So even if the call fails, you're still buying yourself a chance. That's so important because seniors often live alone, and fear itself can make the body spiral.
Correct. The body listens to the mind. When calm returns, you start to think clearly. Where am I? Can I move? Can I breathe? Those questions re-engage your awareness. If you can answer them, you can act.
And that's when the real strategy begins. You've taught your patients something you call the check, position, and preserve method, the golden pattern for any medical crisis.
Yes. Check means quickly scan for immediate danger, gas leaks, fire, electrical hazards. Position means stabilize the body in a way that keeps airways open and blood flowing to the brain. Preserve means maintain warmth and breathing until help connects again. Even lying flat with legs slightly elevated can redirect blood flow and prevent fainting. It's simple, but deeply effective.
You mentioned the same principle has saved patients in Japan's post-earthquake clinics, where communication lines went down and people had to rely on basic physiology instead of technology.
Yes, because biology doesn't fail when the signal does. The heart still listens to posture, temperature, and breath. And those who stayed conscious longest were the ones who slowed their breathing and supported circulation.
That's profound. It means even if the phone fails, you're not powerless. You still have the tools inside you.
Exactly. The emergency begins outside you, but survival begins within.
Doctor, I want to go deeper into what you just said, the idea that survival begins within. You've mentioned position as the most critical part of that golden 3-minute window. What exactly should someone do with their body when the call for help fails?
Howard, the position of the body can decide whether blood keeps moving or stops. Let's start with the simplest rule. Keep the brain above panic, not below blood flow. If a senior feels faint, dizzy, or senses pressure in the chest, the worst thing to do is sit upright and strain. Instead, lie flat, elevate the legs on a cushion or rolled towel, and loosen any tight clothing around the chest or neck. This shifts blood back toward the heart and brain.
So, if circulation is dropping, gravity becomes your ally.
Exactly. And for those who fear a heart attack, lying on the left side slightly bent at the knees can relieve pressure on the heart and lungs. It helps the body breathe more naturally while protecting the airway if consciousness fades. It's the same position paramedics use when stabilizing a patient before transport.
What about those who feel a stroke coming on? Sometimes it's just a strange weakness or slurred speech.
In that case, sitting at a 45-degree angle is better than lying flat. The goal is to ease blood flow to the brain without increasing pressure. Keep the chin slightly down to maintain airway control and never tilt the head back. Doing so can make breathing harder. If you can, turn the head gently toward the side of weakness. It helps protect the airway in case of drooling or nausea.
That's such a critical distinction. Heart and stroke require different positioning, but both share one theme. Keep the airway open and the blood moving.
Precisely. And if breathing feels tight, prop the upper body on a pillow. The lungs expand better when the chest isn't compressed. Even small adjustments matter. In emergencies, posture becomes medicine.
You once said something that stuck with me. When technology fails, posture replaces the machine. And that's what this is. It's circulation, oxygen, and stability without tools.
Yes, these are not desperate acts. They're intelligent ones. You're telling your body, I'm still here, and I'm helping you hold on. And that mental message often makes all the difference before help arrives.
Doctor, I think this is the hardest part for most people. When panic sets in, it's almost impossible to think clearly. What's actually happening inside the body in those moments?
Panic is the body's false alarm. When danger appears, your brain floods the bloodstream with adrenaline and cortisol. That's useful for escaping threats, but in a medical emergency, when your body is the threat, it can turn deadly. Your heart races, blood pressure spikes, and oxygen gets trapped in the upper chest instead of reaching the brain. The result is dizziness, confusion, even collapse.
So, what's the first way to quiet that alarm?
The breath. It's the only part of your nervous system you can consciously control. I teach my patients something called the 4-4-6 method. Inhale through the nose for 4 seconds, hold gently for 4, exhale slowly through pursed lips for 6. That longer exhale signals the vagus nerve, the body's natural brake pedal, to slow the heart and restore balance. Even 2 or 3 rounds can stabilize blood flow.
That's fascinating, because we often think of breathing as automatic, but you're saying it can literally reverse panic physiology in real time.
Yes, and it does something more. It reduces pain perception. When breathing slows, the brain releases endorphins, natural painkillers. That's why many people in distress suddenly feel calmer after deep breathing. It's not imagination, it's chemistry.
And I suppose that's especially critical during chest pain or muscle cramps when every second feels unbearable.
Exactly. If chest pain strikes, focus on breathing low and wide into the belly. Keep one hand on the abdomen. If it rises, you're doing it right. That keeps oxygen consistent without overloading the heart. For sharp muscle pain, especially in the legs or arms, avoid tensing. Let the limb rest naturally and direct your breath toward the discomfort. The brain can only focus on one signal at a time. When you breathe consciously, it stops magnifying pain.
That's powerful. So instead of fighting pain, you're giving the body permission to calm itself.
Yes, because control equals confidence. Even small control restores clarity. And clarity keeps you alive.
So, in a way, breathing becomes your emergency medicine. Free, portable, and always available.
Precisely. When you command your breath, you command your survival.
Doctor, let's say someone has done everything right so far. They've calmed their breathing, found the right position, and stabilized themselves. But the phone line is still dead. The call hasn't gone through, and they're alone. What comes next?
Howard, this is where strategy matters more than strength. When technology fails, we rely on ancient instincts how to attract attention, conserve energy, and communicate with the world around us. The first priority is signaling. If you can move, make yourself visible and audible. Open a curtain, turn on a porch light if it's dark, or knock on the nearest wall or floor in a steady rhythm. 3 knocks, pause, 3 again. That pattern is recognized globally as a distress signal.
That's so simple but so effective, and it doesn't require shouting, which can drain oxygen fast.
Exactly. Shouting depletes your energy. Rhythmic sound or light does not. If you have a whistle, keep it by your bedside. One sharp blow every 30 seconds carries farther than a voice and uses a fraction of the effort. If you can reach your phone but the line is silent, don't hang up. Dispatchers can sometimes trace open lines even without conversation.
I never thought about that. And conserving strength, you say, is just as important as signaling.
Yes. Panic burns energy the body desperately needs. If you've positioned yourself correctly, the next step is stillness. The more you move, the more oxygen your muscles demand. Keep your breaths deep but slow. If you feel faint, close your eyes and picture warmth spreading from your center outward. Visualization triggers calm in the nervous system. Many patients who've practiced this stay alert longer.
It sounds almost meditative, but it's survival.
It is. Calm minds make better choices. And if you do regain signal, use short, clear words when speaking to the operator. Heart pain, 72. Conscious, alone, 123 Maple Street. Then stop talking. Save air. The dispatcher will guide you.
And if family or neighbors live nearby, texting a single word like help or using voice assistants, call neighbor, can activate connections faster than manual dialing.
Yes, technology is wonderful, but it's the preparation behind it that saves you. Keep emergency contacts on speed dial, label them clearly, and always keep your phone charged overnight.
That's so important because it means survival isn't luck. It's planning. Even when 911 fails, hope doesn't.
Exactly. The body has remarkable endurance when it knows it's not alone. Signaling reminds both the world and your own heart you are still here.
Doctor, let's imagine the best case scenario. Help finally arrives. The ambulance doors open, the paramedics rush in. What should a senior do in those moments before they're moved or treated?
The most important thing is to stay still and stay clear. Don't try to sit up or explain everything at once. The body has been through a shock, and sudden movement can cause another drop in blood pressure or trigger dizziness. Instead, take one deep breath. Focus your eyes on the responder nearest you and answer only the questions you hear. Name, age, pain level. That clarity helps the medical team act faster and more precisely.
So less movement, more focus. It's almost like passing the baton, letting professionals take over without adding confusion.
Exactly. And once you're safe, the recovery truly begins. After any emergency, whether it's chest pain, dizziness, or a fall, the body holds onto the stress. The nervous system doesn't know the danger has ended. That's why so many people feel exhausted, shaky, or tearful after they're stabilized. The body needs time to rebalance.
What's the best way to support that recovery at home once the immediate danger has passed?
2 things. rehydration, and reflection. Drink water slowly, not all at once. Small sips help restore blood volume without straining the heart. Then, when you're calm, take 5 minutes to review what happened. Ask yourself, what worked? What did I remember? What could I prepare better next time? Turning fear into learning rewires the brain to act faster and calmer in future crises.
That's powerful, because it turns a frightening memory into a rehearsal for survival.
Yes. The next time something unexpected happens, your mind recognizes the pattern and moves into action instead of panic. I often tell my patients to practice small drills, checking where their phone is, rehearsing how to unlock the door for emergency crews, or even visualizing calm breathing while lying in bed. Each rehearsal strengthens confidence.
So, recovery isn't just about healing, it's about training resilience.
Exactly. The body heals faster when the mind feels capable. Even gratitude helps when seniors take a moment to thank themselves for what they did right. Their blood pressure and heart rate recover more smoothly. Harvard studies show gratitude activates the parasympathetic system, the same one that restores calm.
That's incredible. So, in a sense, surviving the emergency is only half the story. The other half is teaching yourself that you can.
Yes, Howard. Because once the fear is replaced by familiarity, the next time an alarm rings, you won't freeze. You'll breathe, act, and endure.
Doctor, this conversation has been eye-opening. I think most people assume emergencies are about speed, how fast we dial, how quickly help arrives. But today, you've reminded us that survival often depends on the quiet moments, the breaths, the positioning, the choices we make before anyone reaches us.
That's right, Howard. Technology is powerful, but it's never guaranteed. What is guaranteed is your body's instinct to survive. When you calm your breath, when you position yourself wisely, when you send even the smallest signal for help, you are already healing. You are reminding the body that it is not helpless, it is capable.
And that sense of control, even in the middle of chaos, is priceless. We often see fear turn to panic because people don't realize how much power they still have. Slow your breath, stay still, focus your thoughts. You give yourself time. And time, as every doctor knows, is the real medicine.
Exactly. In Japan, we often teach seniors that safety is not a location, it's a rhythm, the rhythm of breath, thought, and awareness. Once you know that rhythm, you carry it with you everywhere. Even when the phone fails or the lights go out, you still have that inner signal guiding you back to calm.
That's such a beautiful idea. Safety as rhythm, not reaction. And I think for everyone listening right now, especially those living alone, it's a comfort to know that preparation is power. It's not about fear, it's about readiness.
Yes. Because when the body knows what to do, the mind stays clear. And clarity is what keeps you alive, even when everything else seems uncertain.
So to everyone listening, remember this. Survival isn't luck, it's awareness. Take a few minutes today to practice what you've heard. Try the breathing, visualize the positions, store your emergency contacts. Each small act is a promise to yourself that you're not powerless.
And that promise, that self-trust, is what keeps us aging not in fear, but in confidence.
Dr. Hinohara, thank you again for your wisdom. And to our listeners, if you found this conversation valuable, share it with someone who might need it, because one day your knowledge might save their life.
Until next time, stay calm, stay